Alright, so today I'm going to show you guys how to replace the bulbs here behind your gauges, and how to take apart this trim here and stuff and get to those. It's a pretty easy process, but just make sure that you're paying attention to what you're doing. And honestly, I think my best advice for this, or while really doing anything with interior pieces of the car, is just make sure you're really careful, because as you know, the older the car gets, the older the things on it are. So if you're sitting here pulling too hard at the trim, it's likely going to snap or crack on you, and you just don't want that. So let's get started. Okay, so for today, the tools you're going to need, and you don't need both of these Phillips head screwdrivers, but I like to use a short one and a long one, and you will see why. However, you can do either or with just the short one or just the long one. And then I also have a trim removal tool, which you don't really need if you're not too worried about it. But basically, it's really convenient for getting up under the trim and popping it out. But if you do that, I will show you here in a few minutes. Just be careful that you don't wreck up your dashboard. Okay, so this really isn't a hard process. Just a heads up though, make sure that your lights are off, because if they're off, then the bulb won't be so hot when you actually get back there. Unless you want to burn your hands, be my guest. Start off, you have two screws right under here. It's a Phillips head screw, so you start by taking those out. And make sure you put your screws somewhere where you won't lose them. I have so many people I know who will have them fall, or they just can't keep track of them, and then when they need them, they're gone. Okay, so now that those two screws are gone, in this far corner and over here in your clock corner, the far corner, there are tabs. Mine are busted. They're on the very corner. Mine are busted, so I can't really do this step. But there are also clips right here. I don't remember if there's two or what. And there's clips here. So basically, I like to just pop the bottom out. I think those are broken too. And then the side ones, you pop out. Just be really careful. And here's where I was saying, if you want to use that trim tool, you can. But right here, just be careful, because if you sit here and then you pry it too hard, it'll eat in your dashboard, and that's not good. And then since you took those screws out, this top comes out fairly easy. So you just kind of work it, and that comes out as its own piece. Okay, now that we have the trim piece off, this is where I like to use the longer screwdriver, just because it's easier. You have 4 Phillips head screws. You have one in this corner, one up here, one here, and one more down here in this corner. So you're just going to take those out. Okay, so now that all 4 screws are out, and those other 2 that held the trim in, you're ready to just take this thing out. So just be careful with it, but the whole cluster will move. And if you kind of turn it sideways, you'll be able to unplug it. Alright, so in particular, I'm not going to unplug mine, just because I can get to the bulbs really easily from where I am right now. If you do need to unplug it though, there are 3 plugs on mine. This one, and I believe there's one more here. I think it's just pull tabs. You just undo those. But if you're in my situation, this thing will just come sideways and you can get to it really well from here. Okay, so there are 5 bulbs that actually light up the back of the gauges. And you will know them because it's these green, dark green things. I already have LEDs in here, so if yours are stock, it's just going to be a little bulb. But you just twist it till it clicks, and it comes right out. Like I said, I have LEDs in here. Okay, and then this is the same process for if you have a regular bulb or LED. Just comes out like that. I don't know how well you can see that. And then to put the bulb back in, I'll put the link for the bulbs in the description, by the way. I'll put the link for the LED ones I got on Amazon, and I will also try to find a link for the original ones, and I'll put those in the description. Alright, so now that you got your new bulb, obviously I didn't actually put a new bulb in, you have it in your socket, and you're just going to put it back where you found it. Just kind of, don't push too hard, but just kind of twist it, and then you'll feel where it clicks in. And once it's like in there, twist right, and it'll click. All right, so now you're just gonna fit this back in here. And for me, the easiest way to do it is like push the gauges like that, kind of backwards, and then put them in, kind of cradle it in like that. It's like something you kind of just gotta work with. Like, it's not hard, but just don't rush. Take your time. And then you will see towards the bottom here, there's these little things. Those are supposed to line up. That's the hole you put your screw in, but those, yeah, that plastic should be in that hole. All right, and so now that that's aligned, just go find your 4 screws, and it's a reverse process. So you just put them in where they go. So 4 corners. Also, another thing, just to be safe, you don't need to, but a helpful hint is if you're going to be like messing with screws that are in the back of the dashboard like this, it's helpful to get a magnetic tip screwdriver, just because that way you have a little more like safety so that those screws don't fall back behind the dash. Because I mean, obviously you can go get them if you really like, ooh, that was a close one, if you really need to, but I don't know, I think the magnetic screwdriver is just a little more like helpful, because then they don't fall off and you don't have to go digging for them, because the last thing you need if you're trying to do this quick is for those to fall all the way to the back of the dashboard. Okay, so now that those 4 screws are all in, you're going to come back and get your trim piece that we took off earlier, and you'll see there's like a little tab up here at the top. Make sure that goes under that dash thing, and then just make sure it's lined up. Push those clips back in, and then you just put your last 2 screws in that you took out first. Alright, and just like that, you learned how to get up behind the gauges and change those lights. If you still have any questions, or maybe I was just not that clear, shoot me questions, and I'll try my best to answer them. Comment below if you have any questions. And I hope I helped you guys out. This process does apply for the 97, 98, 99, 2000, and 2001 Toyota Camry. And yeah, that's about it. I will have the links for those bulbs in the bio, or the description, sorry. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed.